You've tried everything and somehow you still feel like something's off. That one hairstyle you've been loyal to for years? It might be the exact thing quietly adding age to your face every single morning. I research worst style and beauty mistakes and youth-boosting fixes for mature women, so you get simple, proven transformations that work instantly. Today we're perfecting 5 outdated hairstyles making you look older. And by part 3 you'll want to pause and look in the mirror. I mean it. We're covering 5 specific styles that quietly age a beautiful face, and exactly what to replace each one with. And the very first mistake? I see it on 9 out of 10 women over 60. Let's go. 1. The overprocessed short pixie. You spent 20 minutes on this and something still looks off. That severe, overly short pixie you were told was easy and youthful might actually be doing the opposite. Here's the truth nobody explains at the salon chair. A pixie cut too short at the sides exposes bone structure changes around the temples that naturally happen with age, and instead of looking edgy, it can read as harsh. This one is everything. The fix isn't growing it all out. It's about softening the shape. Leave a touch more length through the crown so there's movement instead of severity. Keep the sides slightly longer than classic pixie length so the face has something to frame it. Ask your stylist for soft textured ends instead of blunt clipper lines, because blunt edges age you faster than you'd think. Add subtle face framing pieces near the cheekbones. Skip the heavy matte pomade. A light shine product reads younger instantly. If you're still wearing that razor-sharp pixie from a decade ago, swap it for a softly textured version with longer layers on top. If your sides are buzzed too close, swap that for a gentle taper that still feels short but never severe. Honestly, I wish someone had told my own mother this before her 60th birthday photos. The right pixie can look more elegant than any long style, but only when it's built for your bone structure now, not 20 years ago. Maintenance is simple here. A light texturizing spray twice a week keeps movement without weighing down the crown. This tiny shift is the one that made a friend of mine stop mid-conversation and ask what changed about her face. And the next mistake on this list is even more common than this one. It's hiding in nearly every safe haircut over 50. 2. The blunt chin length bob. Have you ever wondered why this safe haircut never quite works the way you hoped? That blunt chin length bob you've worn for a decade isn't safe. It's aging you by emphasizing every soft line along the jaw and hiding the elegant neck you still have. Here's the key insight most stylists never say out loud. A perfectly straight blunt line at the jaw draws a hard horizontal frame right where the face has softened most, and that contrast is what reads as older, not the softness itself. The fix starts with angle, not length. Ask for a slight forward angle so the front pieces sit longer than the back, elongating the face instantly. Add invisible layering underneath, so the ends move instead of sitting like a shelf. Bring in soft face framing pieces that graze the jaw rather than cutting straight across it. Consider even half an inch of extra length, it changes everything about how shadows fall. Swap matte flat iron styling for a soft bend at the ends using a large barrel. If you're still cutting it perfectly straight across, swap it for a soft forward angle. If you're flat ironing it stick straight every morning, swap that for loose waves that catch the light instead of flattening it. You needed to hear this. Your bone structure was never the problem, the blunt line was fighting it the whole time. Keep the ends healthy with a monthly trim so the angle stays crisp without splitting. This single swap is the one my viewers message me about the most because it takes the exact same length they already have and simply reshapes how it falls. And what I'm about to show you next hides in plain sight on almost every gray transitioning woman I meet. 3. The over-teased crown volume. This one is doing more damage than you realize. That teased, back-combed crown you rely on for volume is quietly thinning your hair every single time you do it. Teasing creates friction at the root that breaks fine, mature strands over time, which means the very technique meant to add fullness is slowly causing the thinning you're trying to hide. Yes, that's simple. Real volume comes from the cut, not the comb. Ask for internal layering specifically through the crown so hair has built-in lift without any backcombing. Try a root lift spray applied only at the base while hair is damp, then blow dry upward with a round brush. Skip teasing entirely and instead use a volumizing mousse worked only through the roots. Consider a slightly shorter crown layer than the rest of your length. It stands up on its own. Sleep on a silk pillowcase to preserve whatever lift you styled that morning. If you're still teasing your roots every morning, swap that for root lift spray and upward blow drying. If you're using stiff hold hairspray to keep the teasing in place, swap it for a lightweight volumizing mousse instead. Honestly, this is the tip I get the most emotional messages about because women tell me their hair finally stopped falling out at the part line. There is one technique that changes how your entire crown holds shape all day. And it takes your stylist about 4 minutes to build into your next cut. 4. The uniform all-over color. You've tried everything: brighter blondes, deeper browns, every box color on the shelf. And somehow your color still looks flat instead of expensive. Here's what almost nobody tells you. A single uniform color across the entire head removes all natural shadow and light from your hair. And shadow and light are exactly what make hair look dimensional and youthful instead of flat and mature. The fix is dimension, not a whole new color. Ask your colorist for soft face framing baby lights just around the hairline. They catch light exactly where people look first. Request a subtle root demarcation with a shade slightly deeper than your ends, so regrowth looks intentional instead of obvious. Try balayage placed only through the top layer instead of all over foils. Skip permanent color every 4 weeks, and instead use a gloss treatment between full colors. Ask specifically for warmth near your face, since warmth reflects light better than cool ashy tones on mature skin. If you're still doing solid all-over color, swap it for face-framing baby lights with a soft root shadow. If you're covering every inch of gray at once, swap that for a gradual blended approach that looks lived-in and expensive. This one is everything. A gloss refresh every 6 to 8 weeks keeps the dimension from fading into flatness again. I've watched women in their 70s get carded at the wine counter after this one change. That's not an exaggeration, that's balayage doing its quiet work. And the very last mistake on this list is the one almost nobody notices in themselves, even though everyone else sees it immediately. 5. The flat, unstyled wash and go. Remember when you could wash your hair, let it air dry, and it looked effortlessly fine? Those days are gone, and it isn't because you're older. It's because mature hair texture changes, and nobody ever explained that to you. Here's the honest insight. As hair matures, the natural wave pattern loosens and the strand itself often becomes finer, which means wash and go now dries flatter and thinner than it used to. No matter how good your hair once was. The fix isn't more product piled on top. It's about working with the new texture instead of against it. Try a lightweight mousse on damp hair before any air drying. Scrunched upward from the ends. Use a diffuser on low heat if you do blow dry, since high direct heat flattens fine strands fast. Add point cut ends rather than blunt ones so hair has texture built in even without styling. Try sleeping in a loose braid to add gentle wave without heat. Finally, a weekly deep conditioning mask keeps strands strong enough to hold whatever shape you give them. If you're still air drying with zero product, swap that for a lightweight mousse scrunched in while damp. If you're blow drying on high heat pointed straight down, swap that for a diffuser on low, lifting the hair as you go. You needed to hear this. Effortless doesn't mean untouched. It means the right 5 minutes in exactly the right order. A weekly hair mask is the one habit that keeps this texture shift from turning into real damage down the road. This is the change that gets the most "what did you do differently" comments of anything on this entire list, and now you know all 5. 6. The complete hair care blueprint for women 60 and above. Let's slow down for a second because everything we've covered so far has been about fixing individual mistakes. This part is different. This is the full picture. Everything your hair actually needs once you cross into your 60s, 70s, and beyond, all in one place. Here's the truth almost nobody explains clearly. Hair over 60 is not just thinner or grayer. It is structurally different hair. The follicle itself shrinks slightly with age, which means each strand grows in finer than it used to. The scalp produces less natural oil. The hair shaft becomes more porous, which means it loses moisture faster and absorbs color unevenly. And the growth cycle slows down, so hair that breaks takes longer to be replaced. This one is everything. Let's start with washing because most women are doing this wrong without knowing it. Washing every single day strips the little natural oil your scalp still produces, leaving hair dry, static-prone, and dull. Twice a week is usually plenty for most mature hair types, 3 times if you have an active lifestyle. Use lukewarm water, never hot, because hot water opens the cuticle and lets moisture escape faster than it can be replaced. Your shampoo choice matters more now than it ever did in your 30s. Sulfate-heavy shampoos strip what little natural oil your scalp makes. So switch to a gentle, sulfate-free formula built for mature or color-treated hair. If your hair has gone gray or silver, a purple or blue tone shampoo used once a week keeps brassiness away without overprocessing. You needed to hear this. The $3 drugstore version often outperforms the $50 luxury bottle because the ingredient list matters far more than the packaging. Conditioning deserves its own conversation entirely. A rinse-out conditioner is not enough anymore. Mature hair needs a deep conditioning mask at least once a week, left on for 15 to 20 minutes, ideally with a little gentle heat from a warm towel wrapped around your head. This is the single habit that separates dull, straw-like gray hair from hair that looks genuinely luminous. Now let's talk about heat, because this is where so much unnecessary damage happens. Fine, mature strands cannot tolerate the same heat levels you used in your 20s. High heat breaks down the protein structure of the hair, which leads to permanent thinning over time, not just temporary frizz. Keep your tools under 350 degrees, always use a heat protectant spray first, and let hair air dry at least 80% of the way before you ever pick up a hot tool. This one small habit alone can add years of health back into your hair. Brushing technique matters just as much as product. A hard bristle brush on dry, fragile, mature hair creates friction and breakage you won't notice until months later when you see thinner ends. Switch to a wide tooth comb on wet, conditioned hair, always starting from the ends and working upward toward the roots, never the other way around. This alone prevents an enormous amount of unnecessary hair loss. Let's talk about scalp health because a healthy scalp is the entire foundation everything else depends on. As we age, circulation to the scalp naturally decreases, which can slow hair growth and contribute to thinning at the crown. A gentle scalp massage for 2 to 3 minutes daily, using your fingertips in small circles, increases blood flow to the follicles. Some women use a lightweight rosemary or peppermint oil blend during this massage, both of which have been anecdotally linked to improved scalp circulation. Honestly, this is the tip I get the most thank you messages about, because it costs nothing and takes less time than brushing your teeth. Nutrition plays a bigger role than most women realize. Hair is essentially built from protein, so if your diet is low in protein, your hair will reflect that within a few months. Foods rich in biotin, omega-3 fatty acids, iron, and zinc all directly support hair strength and growth cycles. This isn't about supplements replacing a good diet. It's about making sure your plate actually supports what your scalp is trying to do. Sleep matters too, more than you'd expect. A silk or satin pillowcase reduces the friction that causes tangles, breakage, and those flattened spots you wake up with. Cotton pulls moisture out of your hair overnight and creates the exact friction that ages hair the fastest. This is a $5 fix with a lifetime of benefit. Finally, let's talk about trims because most women wait far too long between them. Even if you're growing your hair out, a trim every 8 to 10 weeks removes split ends before they travel up the shaft and cause more visible damage. Skipping trims doesn't save length. It just guarantees more breakage later. Put all of this together: gentle washing, real conditioning, controlled heat, proper brushing, scalp care, nutrition, silk sleep, and regular trims, and you have an entire system, not just a single fix. This is the blueprint every woman over 60 deserves to have been given years ago. You just learned 5 outdated hairstyles that quietly age almost every woman over 50, and exactly what to ask for instead of each one. That's 5 real transformations in one sitting. Boom, your bone structure was always this stunning. Now it shows. Tell me, which of these 5 outdated styles were you still wearing without realizing it? Next time, we're tackling the one accessory mistake that adds 10 years overnight. Like this video, subscribe to Timeless Wisdom Path, and I'll see you in the next one.